so everything had some time to dry, and I think what we're going to do now is we're going to start staining. There are certain pieces that have two. They've got the wood and they've got the wrought iron. Like the anchors, this section is made of wood, and then you can see the metal part. So all the metal parts, like the cannon barrels, that's going to be black. But for the wood, we're going to stain them, and we're going to stain them with the Minwax, the espresso. This is a good kind of stain brush. Okay, so I think I'll start with the anchors. So this part over here is actually going to be wood. So we don't need a lot of stain, just a bit. You can see how it kind of travels and just kind of penetrates into the wood. And a little bit of the stain goes a really long way. I just want to make sure that every side and one coat's going to be good. So when that's dry, we're going to do the black. So we'll just put this down to dry. And we'll do the other one. And again, the metal will be black. Okay, let's do this structure. We don't have to do the bottom because that's where it's going to be glued in place, but we do have to do the back. Oh, awesome, that's starting to look already. Alright, let's do the other half. Looking pretty good. All right, let's do these things. I just did all the sides because I don't know what it's gonna go up against. You know, I was going to put it on a paper towel, but I don't know. I don't want it to stick, so let's put it on the paper. You can see this section. I think this is what's going to go around the masts. I'm almost tempted to just dip it into the stain. See how a little bit of stain really makes it look good. And it's going to be a nice contrast. Let's do the other one. All right, this one should be relatively easy to do. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, I think let's do the ship's wheel next. This might be easier to just dip in, just because I want to make sure that everything gets covered. That looks pretty good. All right, we got these things now. And again, I think that's where the rigging is going to go in. Again, I love how it just kind of penetrates, goes throughout the piece. Nice. Okay, I think we can do this little structure that's going to go on the poop deck. This is going to look really nice when the stain seeps in. Look at that. And the little grills on the sides, actually it's going to look really good. I'm wondering if we can go ahead and get this to light. good. Put this over here. The only thing with that is you can see where a little bit of the glue. See, the glue keeps the stain from going into the wood. Okay, so now we're going to do the cannon. So we're going to do the sides. The little platform that the cannon is resting on. Yeah. And then what we'll do is we're actually going to paint the cannon, the barrel. There. So we got everything stained that we needed to be stained. So I'm wondering how long, because the stain tends to take a while. When I had done the Helco ship, when I had stained the hull, it seemed to take forever for it to dry. But when it dries, it's really awesome. I mean, it protects the wood, and it's meant to just, it beautifies it. So what we got to do now is we have to wait. So now the waiting game begins. As soon as it's dry, we're going to be able to do the paint, the black. And the only things we really need to paint are the cannon barrels and the anchors, everything that was wrought iron or metal. All right, everything had some time to dry. And what we can do now is we can finish them off by putting on the paint. Now the wrought iron, it's going to be like a flat black. It's not going to be gloss. So I'm going to use the primer, the Vallejo, the black primer. This stuff is really awesome paint, or primer. All right, we'll start doing the anchors. There's not a lot of difference between the black and the stain, but there is a difference. Let's do where the string is going to go through. Yeah, hopefully you guys can tell that that's metal. All right, let's put this, put that like that to dry. Let's do the other one. pretty good. All right, so now the other parts we need to do with a cannon. So it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to need to use the tweezers on the cannon. And what it's going to help do is it's actually going to distinguish the metal from the wood. You'll be able to tell the difference right away. You can almost see the cannon transform. Well, it goes from looking like a bunch of pieces of tiny wood glued together to something that actually looks like it has wood and metal. And when it dries, it'll look that much better because it's going to dry matte. It's not going to have any shine in it at all. You know, there's something about painting the barrels where I was wondering if it was going to be a problem because they looked square. And obviously the barrels on a cannon are round. But when you paint it with the black paint, especially the matte, you almost, it just takes away from the squareness. And we're actually left with, it actually resembles something round. So it's going to work out perfect. Because the way this model is, we don't have enough cannon to make them all sticking out the windows or the doors. So we have a tree that's got all the doors. So when the doors are closed on the ship, you can see there are two ropes, and when they pull them, that's what the doors open. And the insides of the doors are actually red, the tops of the lids, but we're actually going to make the ship with the doors closed because we just don't have enough cannon. Yeah. So all the cannons are finished. I think they actually came out pretty cool. It may not show up on camera, but when you're looking at them in person, there is a difference. And when the paint is dry, we're really going to notice. I think the contrast between the black and the brown wood, you're going to be able to tell that it's actually wrought iron. So that looks pretty good. There's nothing else really that needs to be. I think we're ready to move on. The reason we did all these structures is that they're going to go on the ship, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to start putting the sides on and planking before we glue the structures on. Let me show you guys. Like this right here is going to go right here, and this is a pretty fragile little piece that's on there. You know, there are other pieces that are going to go like around the mast, or it could be over here, the other one. But anyway, that's going to go around one of the masts, and we have the ship's wheel. That's actually going to go over here. I don't know if it's going to stay in. I'm not going to glue it, but you can see the ship's wheel. You know, and some of the other structures like the poop deck is going to have this deck house on it, or the little structure. So I think what I want to do is we're going to put the sides, the first row, and then we're going to plank it. And I think I want to get that in before we put the structures on, just so nothing happens to this. And there's a piece that has to go in there as well. And I need to start thinking about the color scheme that we're going to use, because I do have the books to reference the colors, such as this one right here. But one of the problems is they recently redid the coloring on the ship, because they did a restoration and they were actually able to strip the layers away, and they actually got back to the time that they believe was Admiral Nelson's time. So what I want to do is I want to make her look like she did back in Admiral Nelson's day. So the colors are a little richer and a little different. This book, the colors of this book was a little bit prior to the color scheme that they have now. So what I want to do is I want to do the scheme. I want to paint her the way she looks today. And that would be the most updated color scheme. So she would look like she did it back in Admiral Nelson's day. But that's going to be the next video. We're going to start putting the sides on. So my friends, until that video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.